whenever you look at performance management, is that all business aspects, whether it's human, whether it's material, whether it's technology, performs at optimal, level. That is, they achieve effectiveness and efficiency at the same time. That's the goal. That's why I explained what effectiveness and efficiency was earlier on. Okay, so you must understand this goal clearly. Combining everything, and it involves all aspects of the business, not only human, but involves material, involves technology also. This is very, very important, please. We must remember about this. Again, it's an ongoing process, so it's not a one-off. This is where there's a difference between performance appraisal. Appraisals are one-off, particular periods, while performance management is an everyday, process, an everyday strategy employed, by managers and supervisors to ensure that they give the needed support, okay, and to their team and the people they are supervising, so as to achieve organizational objectives. Please don't forget this. This is very, very important. So key is a process, ongoing. Okay, and this is where I will say that, look, it's not exactly that performance appraisal, will be cancelled, but performance appraisal as we do it today is being phased out. That's what my colleague was saying. As we do it today, if all you do in terms of performance management is that every quarter or every end of the year we will appraise, then you are failing in performance management, because it's an everyday interactive relationship of communication and of management between supervisor and employee, giving them support, identifying their needs, immediately being proactive. So you don't wait until the end of the year. This is what accountant says. You don't wait on the end of the year before you do your accounting book. You account each day, else you will have lost opportunities of interventions and improving the performance. This is very important, please. All right. Another purpose of performance management, therefore, will be to create a conducive environment for continuous development of skills needed by the employees to do their job to the best of their abilities. I repeat, conducive environment, whether physical or psychological, for continuous development of skills needed by employees to do their job to the best of their abilities. So notice that you are not just developing skills randomly. This is where you have to be strategic. What skill is needed by this function to deliver on the job objective set for them? Don't forget, there's a corporate objective from which we will now cascade functional objective, then team objective, then individual role objective. So on this role, for this job, what skills are needed? Do the people handling that job have that required level of competence in terms of knowledge, in terms of skill, in terms of the ability expected? If they don't, what you should do is that you give the support, the intervention, the training, the coaching, whatever you need to do, you need to give to them, so as to ensure that you have sustainable attainment of set business objective. Don't forget, I said sustainable attainment, not just a one-off. Performance management is not about one-off. It's not an appraisal. Appraisal is just a subset of performance management, and that we must emphasize here. And I think my colleague has made a reference to the element of performance management. You have to plan the performance, okay, related to your overall objective and the strategy of the organization. Then establish it, draw it up, okay, design, the performance and all that, your metrics or KPI, then monitor, okay. The monitoring is not only by HR. The HR, as we've said, is just about 10% of performance management. It's in the hands of managers and line managers and supervisors. Monitoring, okay. So there must be a meeting of minds as when you are establishing what you will measure between HR and the supervisors. HR does not just set or establish the performance management system and structure himself, because he is not the one to really monitor. He's not the one to really review. Okay. So please, you must understand that he is just a partner and collaborator, okay, with the supervisor and manager in doing this. All right. The powers are in the lines when it comes to performance management. Okay. Then after monitoring, okay, which is a day-to-day basis, giving feedback and all that, review, okay, is an ongoing also. But you may have particular periods in which you have organized review. This whether the process is going fine, what is needed, what can be helped, and then we now evaluate, maybe quarterly, okay, maybe annually, maybe semi-annually, depending on the organization. This is what it's all about. Let's look at the imperative of strategic performance management. Imperative. We've said that it must always, for strategic performance management to be effective, it must be related to both the what and the how. I think this is going to emphasize. The what has to do with the objectives. This is what makes performance management strategic. The objective of the organization, what we want to achieve. So all the KPIs you are setting out and the metrics must be related to that. That's why you cannot import hook, line, and sinker from another organization and slam and dunk. Okay? It must be related to your own objective, where you are going, your vision, your mission. Then the organization values is the how. Okay, the how of the measurement for me is not just alone in terms of this is the process. No. The how for me is about the culture, the values of the organization. Okay, you may, for instance, if we emphasize as one of our values, team spirit. Okay, you may be one of the best workers, but if you are not working in a team, with a team, to achieve your goal, you are doing injurious things that may not help our organization on the long run. So you are not achieving in the way we said you should achieve. That's one of the things you must spell out in your induction. Okay, how we work, how we win must be clear. That's your values and all that. Okay, so several actions for strategic performance management if you want to have effective productivity. Okay, the first thing on my mind is that you must have structured corporate induction and orientation and reorientation that links. Okay, it must be linked clearly. Okay, so your induction must clearly show who we are, your history, your values, your culture must clearly show both the objective, as I said earlier on, and must clearly show your values. It's very, very important. It must clearly show this. The next thing is clarity of performance standards and goals. You must clarify this. Let me use an example, for instance. You have a barbering shop and you have people come to do apprentice. If they don't understand exactly the performance standards, what you are looking at and all that, they may not maximize their time when they are doing the apprentice or they are doing the internship. Okay? Likewise, you must be clear on performance measures and KPI. What do you measure? A person that came to do internship for barbering must understand that part of what you are taking away from here is not just the skill and the craft of barbering. I am teaching you also how to manage business. I'm teaching you how to customer relationship. I'm teaching you also how to manage conflict and aggrieved customers. You must let them be clear on what they must look out for. So at the end of the day, if you are measuring them, they know what you're measuring them against. There must be clarity of what success looks like. There must be clarity of reward and compensation system. Okay, if you get this, you will have this reward. So they will be motivated. They will have something to run towards. There must be regularity of reviews. And this is where I said that appraisal does not go away, but the way we do appraisal is just what changes. So it's not an almighty appraiser. It's not a voodoo appraiser. It's an appraiser that is ongoing every day. You are giving feedback. And because you have clarity and transparency of the process, everyone knows what we are appraised. For me, what I even do, okay, as an SME, therefore, is to give my staff to appraise themselves first. Then we have discussion. It's a conversation. Okay, it's not a judgment. All right, not the judgment seat. So transparency and fairness of the appraisal system is important, if you want to draw it up. And this is where you need consultants to help and to guide you, and to work also alongside with your internal HR. There must also be alignment of the appraisals system, your training, your reward and your value system. Don't forget, one of the things that, as you do your strategic performance management very well, which will be skill gaps, okay, that is hindering you achieving, maximum productivity, optimum productivity. So you immediately mitigate those, all right? Whether it's outsourced training, whether it's in-house training, whether it's coaching, whatever. So you quickly do that. Okay, now the last thing I want to speak on quickly is a practical performance management tool that you can use, which was I'm using an applied learning from the leadership, situational leadership model of Ense and Blanchard. Okay, they gave us 4 quadrants. they said that in quadrant 1, okay, you just tell, okay, and what, in quadrant 2, you sell or you coach. Quadrant 1, you tell, you direct. Quadrant 2, you coach. Quadrant 3, you support. Quadrant 4, you delegate. And let me emphasize this very quickly. Let me emphasize it very quickly. This model, okay, and why do we use model? It is simple. It's something you can quickly apply. This model, of situational management of productivity helps you to know how to manage individual employees within your organization based on 3 things. Okay, number 1, based on their competence, their skills. 2, based on their readiness. 3, based on their willingness. Let me put it in another way. We are looking at 2 things basically when you want to manage employees' performance for productivity using the situational model, leadership model. Number 1 thing you are looking for is the task readiness. How ready are they for the task? Under the task readiness, look at competence in terms of skill, in terms of knowledge, behavior. Then you are looking for, not only competence, you are looking for readiness. They may have the competence, but it's not yet ready because it's not at the competency level. Okay, so that's where you have intervention programs for them, training, coaching, and all that. All right. Then the second aspect, of factor you look at are the factors of psychological readiness. This is where willingness is. So you can have people who are willing and able. You can have workers who are unwilling but able. You can have workers who are unwilling and unable. You can have workers who are willing and trying. You can have workers who are unwilling, okay, but able. So I'm saying, looking at the various dimensions of workers you have, it must, you must now use situational performance management as a leader, as a supervisor, to know how to help them. In quadrant 1, if you can see my screen, please just type yes, you can see my screen. Just type it. Quadrant 1, where I say you tell. You will find that, look, most of what you have here is I-directed behavior. And why is it I-directed behavior? Okay, because the person here, okay, he has very low knowledge, okay, and so he needs a lot, okay, of information and all that. So you tell them what to do, you explain everything and all that. All right, okay, so that's why you direct, okay. But when you coach, this person already has a lot of knowledge here, okay. He has more knowledge, okay, more knowledge, and maybe he's also willing. So so you just look at the gaps. But where you support, okay, this person cannot direct himself. He is not so strong, but he's highly eager, he's highly willing. Okay, you give him a lot of supportive behavior. Okay, you are there, for him. You provide all he needs and all that. But in delegating, these are people who, they don't need you to lead them. They don't need you to tell them. They know the job, and yet they're also willing. Okay, just delegate to them. I'm not saying abdicate, delegate to them. So this is one of the tool you can use. We can, you can read more on this, please. But this is basically used for leadership, situational leadership style. I adapted it for something that you can apply as SME owners and SME professionals and practitioners. For managing behavior, managing performance, as to achieve optimum productivity. For time, I'll quickly just run through 1 or 2 other things. Now, I've said most of what is here. I said the situational management model shows behavior system structure that is most appropriate for different category of employees based on maturity in terms of task readiness and psychological readiness. And I've told you what task readiness is all about. Must have competence and readiness, while for psychological readiness is willingness. So based on those permutations of, is it willing and able? Is it unwilling but able? Is it unwilling and unable? Is it willing and trying? Is it unwilling but able? So depend on the permutation of the combination of the factors that they have in terms of readiness. It will determine whether you will coach. It will determine whether you will counsel. It will determine whether you will even exit out of the system. It will determine whether you will encourage by reward. Okay, so you must look at the computation and permutation of all these factors very quickly. And these are some of the factors I've said here. Okay, So willing and able, willing and unable, willing and trying, unwilling and unable, unwilling but able. So you must look at that. So please, and for time, I have to quickly stop here so we can maximize question time. Okay, thank you very much. Richard, back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. That was quite, I don't know, quite insightful. It's like we've been in Harvard. You know, this is Harvard Business Review.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You're kind.
Thank you so very much, sir. That's so great. You know, I told some people that, you know, this course will cost a minimum of 25,000 naira. Instead of sitting down and eating Christmas rice, and next year will come, you will still pay us.
Part of what I'm giving them is what I give at LBS. I used to lecture at LBS. This is part of what I give them. So it's not 25,000 I'm giving them. I'm giving them something that they cannot pay less than 100,000. So people are missing out on this.
When I told someone this afternoon, you said they need to go, and there's a particular, he has to be at the beach today. I said the beach will always be there. If you miss this, we will come. Even as a friend, you will still pay me. He said no. I said you will pay me because you will pay consultants. Consultants have to be paid. And you don't pay them, you can't pay them change, you can't give them change, because to bring all of this that you have shared with us now, to put them together, is not a joke. So I don't know what to say, but thank you so very much. I have learned a lot. See, my note is full. But then we also have some requests. Some people are